So there are 5 different personalities, which I think are in every single World of Warcraft server. So today, I thought I'd go through all 5 of them, and perhaps you can think about which one you are. Let's start with Rick, the arch-capitalist. But Rick is primarily concerned with advancing their individual character as quickly as possible, and they expect everybody else to do the same. Now, the Rick may or may not be in a guild. I've known a few Ricks in my time, and some of the most powerful Ricks are actually outside of guilds and they just do pugs. One Rick I know actually has a Thunder Fury and does a heck of a lot of damage. I tried to convince him to join the guild, but he was too stubborn and said absolutely not. He's really enjoys doing whatever he wants. So Rick is really independent. They believe in personal responsibility, so they believe that if you don't take the right items to a raid, for example, that's primarily down to you, although they may actually share, who knows. They like to keep things simple. Ricks probably don't like complicated systems or DKP because they move around a lot. They believe everyone should have a fair shot at getting items in a raid, for example, if they participate, and they generally don't put a lot of time or investment into guilds. They advance their own ends. Now, that's not to say that they're necessarily selfish. They can actually be incredibly powerful assets for anyone who can pick up a powerful Rick. But you should know that the Rick's probably not going to stick around when the raid's over. They're a bit like Aslan, I suppose, from The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Ricks fundamentally believe a strong guild or raid should be made of strong members who take personal responsibility for being their best. The Rick will often seek out pugs and will often build alliances to achieve their goals. So Ricks will quite often be pretty social, but they won't necessarily stick around for a long period of time. Although, to be honest, any Rick could play any character and probably does play multiple characters.
I will reach into heaven and yank your screaming dear soul back!
Jesus.
You've got Beths. Oh, Beths are kind of the opposite of Ricks. Beths are tribal, which basically mean they deeply care about their tribe, their particular guild. They will always put other members before themselves, although they will put themselves first sometimes, but generally they're quite self-sacrificing. They spend a lot of time working for the benefit of other people within the guild. They'll spend a lot of time grinding, perhaps for potions or for materials which are useful for the guild. They strongly believe in helping other people in the guild, and they may take on admin roles which are necessary. They care deeply about social harmony, and they're often very self-sacrificing. They believe the success of the guild depends on the happiness of everyone in it. You know, they care deeply about the suffering of others, and they're very kind and compassionate people, generally speaking. But the problem with Beths is they can sometimes become overworked. They often will be healer classes or utility classes, which can offer a lot of utility to the group, and they kind of view success of the group coming from the hard work of the most caring people. They might understand that not everyone has the time to put all their energy into the guild, so they'll often try to help other people out. So again, Beths are absolutely outstanding, perhaps being GMs or officers within the guild. Although nevertheless, you still need a good balance of Ricks who will take personal responsibility for being the best they can be. Now, of course, we have to talk about Jerrys. Jerrys have a very laissez-faire attitude, meaning that they're really quite relaxed about things. They want to be left alone. They don't particularly like drama or getting involved. They might be somewhere between a Rick and a Beth. Jerry is honestly just happy to be there most of the time. The Jerrys enjoy playing the game, but they don't typically like too much work. So if you put a lot of responsibility on a Jerry, he might just, or she might just decline and drop out. Jerrys do often help out, but only when they feel like it, so they may seem quite aloof. Now, if there's a character who might only log in, say, once or twice a week, the chances are they could be a Jerry. You never know. Jerry's may have very busy lives and won't always have time to play, so this isn't actually a character flaw, it might be a necessity. But will normally try to attend big events such as weekly guild raids and will even make sacrifices to attend. Jerry's may also not be quite as skilled as other players, or they may not have the best guild, but they tend to be happy and willing to try things, and they're good fun to be around.
I'll explain later.
Ooh. Well, it looks like he hates it.
You are not like other carbon-based life forms. You put the value of all life above your own. It's how things should be.
You have the Morty next. These I'm going to describe as communitarianism people. These players generally care deeply about the whole of the community, not focused on the guild, so they're not tribal as such, but they can be described like social butterflies. They have a lot of connections between themselves and the community. They might spend a lot of time on Discord, talking to other people, and they might have a lot of different friends too. So unlike for Beth, as I previously mentioned, they might not sacrifice or put quite as much time into creating social harmony or farming for the guild, but nevertheless, they will still do their part to contribute, even if it's not going above and beyond. Mortys will also help others with little concern for reciprocity. So in other words, they are more likely to help random, lower-level strangers. In instances, for example, they might help people with quests. They might try to do good deeds. They'll often produce things for the auction house, and they will generally be on there for very reasonable prices. They may also know a large number of people. They might also swap guilds a lot of the time. They might be heavily involved with the community and community Discord, so it isn't necessarily bad to be a Morty, but a Morty might not be seen as quite as loyal to one particular guild, and will often have a large number of friends. They might also have a flair for reinventing themselves. Now, the Morty really like stability, but they also expect instability, so they will generally have an exit plan, such as a strong link with other guild. And then, of course, we have to come on to the Roger. This is the American Dad Roger. Rogers are agents of chaos. They might have an antisocial streak. For Roger, the community exists to admire and to entertain them. Ever being camped by a rogue for 2 hours? Or being killed after landing in a flight path? Or had your well buffs dispelled? Or just been jumped and killed somewhere where you wouldn't expect it? Now, the chances are all of these have been done by Rogers. Rogers may not be all bad though. Many will seek to break the game or to push the boundaries. They'll always be looking for exploits and to push the limits of what's possible. They're extremely experimental and creative people. Rogers may be hardcore collectors and will often prefer retail because you can collect so many items and whatnot. And they may actually prefer items within the game to playing with other people. Rogers also thrive on drama and novelty. Just think of Leroy Jenkins running into Black Rock Depths. He might possibly have been the original Roger. Now, on the positive side, if you ally with a Roger, you might have a really, really good time. If you share their sense of humour. Rogers are often really fun to be around, and they can be really nice people too, when they sort of feel like it. Rogers may also be into experimenting with their personality, and this means they might like a lot of different things, and they may have a lot of different characters and wear a lot of different hats. They might like role-playing, for example, and are generally quick-witted and pursue their own goals and agendas often. So, which of the 5 are you? Do you think I was overly harsh on the Rogers there? Many people have aspects of all 5 of these personalities, but I think everyone is probably somewhere on the spectrum. Let me know in the comments where you think you are. And also, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, etc. You know the deal, I really do appreciate it. And do consider supporting me on Patreon or whatever service you like for more content like this. Thank you very much, everyone, and I will speak to you soon.